welcome to this channel. Hope you are all doing great. In this episode, we will discuss a new subject, the theory of crime causation. The concept of crime evolved with the formation and organization of the human society. It always have been a subject of interest to find out what factors are behind to make a person to a criminal. Or in other words, what factors which instigate a person to commit crime. The researchers in criminology are researching the various aspects and investigated the various domains. If we differentiate the domains which criminologists had gathered, then it can be distributed in two halves. One, biological and psychological. Two, sociological and economical. Let us discuss the theories one by one. 1. Biological theory. In the layman's word, a person belongs to what sort of family? That is the genetical feature. Generally, a person whose parents, forefathers have the criminal background, then there is a possibility of that person's inclination towards crime. The large chunk of criminologists found in their research that the genetical and biological factors as an attribute in the character of a person who commit crime. Psychological theory. It is the hardest part of the scientific study for the criminologist. Here, while analyzing the character, several other factors have to be taken into account, such as upbringing of the person, family, economic and personal relationship, the environment the person living or lived. Generally, it is perceived that out of the want or necessity, the crime is committed. But in research, does not always shows the same picture. Person having well education, culture, economic condition and security commits more strategic crime that may be for the lust, greed, perversion, revenge and many more. While discussing the biological and psychological theory, I am sharing with you an imaginary story. Here Mr. D is a government employee, having wife Mrs. J and two sons S1 and S2. Mr. D having a permanent job and a handsome salary. Mr. D used to cheat in the society to earn money, receive bribe from the office. Overall, he have a good amount of money. Mr. B is his uncle, Mrs. K is the auntie and Mr. S is the cousin. Mr. D killed Mrs. K, broken the professional and matrimonial life of Mr. S, and also killed the child of Mr. S. All these have been done in the last 30 years span. Mrs. J always supported Mr. D. Another character is Mr. PG, mentally supported Mr. D for the last 30 years. Mr. PG is a government employee who does not go to the office and work as a land broker and receive salary from the government. Mr. PG is enjoying the ruining of the family of Mr. B. It is obvious that Mr. PG will get a handsome commission from Mr. D. Mrs. J and S1 want to kill Mr. B and S. One thing is clear that Mr. D is doing for money. Another thing here, it is important that the father and forefather of Mr. D were honest and decent. S1 entered into the crime in support of Mr. D. Mrs. J is influencing Mr. S2, the youngest son, to join the group of Mr. D. Now, if S2 join the group, then whether psychological or biological factor will be the prime for entering into the crime. Next question to my viewers is that what sort of character is Mr. PG? He is not doing crime on his own hand. Please share your views and thoughts on the characters of Mr. D, Mrs. J, Mr. PG and S1. Social theory. Social theory can broadly be divided into three heads or three theories. 1. Strain theory. According to the theories, man commit crime out of the strain or stress. In order to reduce such stress, man oversees the line of law to get peace. Say a man is running with a shortage of fund. So, in order to gain some money, he takes the help of fraud. Stress may come out of sense of revenge. Such stress may provoke one to commit crime. Sometimes, to get out of the stress, one start to take illegal drugs. That is also crime. Social learning theory. The theorists here invoke the conception of one's own environment or surrounding where he is living. If one is living or interacting with the people or set of people who are involved in law-breaking activities, such men are more exposed to commit crime. It is a learning process through his friends and family's behavior or activities. Conflict theory. If we see the origin of the conflict in the society from the macro perspective, that is between the two classes, rich and poor, the rich have the intensity to protect their wealth and to become more rich, and poor class want to achieve it on one part, and other part is the Marxian view of class struggle. In the pulling and pushing of the rope, that is the conflict, crime comes into the picture, and somewhere the crime becomes inevitable. Economic theory. Apart from the class struggle, there is another place. In the micro aspect of the society is the economic offense. Earning through the unfair means such as sharing the secret of the organization, evasion of tax. In business, it is commonly seen bypassing of the laws to reach the economic goal or objective. It is similar in case of individuals also. Where exists the economic insecurity, there is a greater possibility of the offense. Another common feature found among a set of people in the society is to take away the property of the another either by cheating or by some illegal means as well as immoral means. The causation or the root for committing crime is a subject of interest for the theorists through the decades. As the subject is of sociological science, so the statistical data alone cannot meet the conclusion. There is also the philosophical aspect of the theorists. There is differences or different aspects in the causation of crime as one differ from another. The theorist generally takes the standard tools while analyzing the causation, but there are endless factors act behind the causation of crime.